wellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
Welcome to Nourishing the Mother, featuring your hosts Bridget Wood and Julie Tenner.
Hello and welcome to Nourishing the Mother. I'm Bridget Wood.
And I'm Julie Tenner. And today's podcast is all about manifesting your 2019.
We are joining the chorus of people who are talking about welcoming in a brand new year. And we are going to get fucking real on it too.
Yeah.
Which you might not be seeing out there.
Yeah, it's true. We want to support the you have the power to manifest, but also balance it with you're also human and how does that look? And so we're going to use some story of my last week to be able to do that. So before we kick into that, I'd love to remind you to jump on to nourishingthemother.com.au and sign up to join our tribe, where once a week we'll shoot you off an email with links to everything we've put out in the world, and you can pick and choose where you'd love to dive deeper. And then occasionally we'll send you something a little more intimate. So please join our tribe on nourishingthemother.com.au. All right. My week of manifesting, Bridget, I've got to cast myself back there because I feel like I'm a lifetime away from it right now. So let me just give you the heads up on why I feel I'm a lifetime away. Is I had a killer dynamic realization through parenting my child, which I'll go into, that led to a conscious belief busting, that led to mass alignment and manifesting out of this fucking universe.
Like crazy shit.
Yeah. That then led to a very deep down, which is where I find myself now.
And I've got to say, I so admire you showing up on this topic and going back into this space when it just feels hard and heavy and icky now. Because when we're on the down, we don't want to be there. We want to be back where we were up.
Yeah, exactly.
And navigating your way through that down can feel hard.
Yeah, but I really want to talk about that. I really feel like you've got some keys for me, Bridget, and for all of us. And I really want to just kind of dig into that wisdom just a little bit more.
Cool.
You ready? All right. So if you've been listening to the podcast last few weeks, I did one a few weeks ago on when your parenting toolkit is requiring more of you than what you currently have. And I had found myself, my eldest daughter has large amounts of anxiety, I would say. And so it's a constant conversation in my family, how we move around anxiety with her and how we, help her level up. Anyway, she was coming up to school captain speeches and had got herself into such a state of anxiety that she wasn't even going to do it. She was going to stop. And so instead of that, I said to her, okay, found a new parenting toolkit. And then we workshopped through and she decided to completely change what she was speaking about and moved to a new speech, which she completely, totally and utterly killed when it came to school captain speeches. So she's speaking in front of the entire school, plus parents and grandparents. And
I've got to say, on that podcast that we did, you made the point, you were like, oh, she's probably not going to get it. Like, and you really didn't believe it all for a second.
Look, to be honest with you, neither of us really thought she would get it because in a way she's kind of the underdog choice. She's academically pretty just midway. She has, slight but, slow on, we do vision therapy with her and she has a few cognitive delays that, just wires getting twisted. So, she's not the high achiever that you expect a school captain to be. But what she is an absolute genius socially and has a huge empathetic heart. And I have spoken about many times before, she's been in drama classes since she was in grade 1, which has been the most incredible gateway and facilitator for her anxiety and how to handle it. So sometimes I have to mediate that because it's easy for her to put on a mask when her anxiety is quite high. Yeah. She'll often be someone else.
She's great at performing.
Yeah. She'll perform instead of sitting in the pain of her anxiety. So it's something I work with, but it also has given her enormous skills. So what she did was get up, and it was such a great speech. I was crying. I was so immensely, not because the speech made me cry, but because I knew what had gone into getting her there.
What it took her to show up.
And what it took her to show up. And it was just overcome with gratitude. It didn't even matter what the outcome would be. I was so thrilled that she'd showed up. And really hoping that that really intense week of parenting would end at those speeches.
Surely we're done here.
Surely we're done here. Because then we had the drama performance that night too. So I was like, we just need to get past Friday and we're going to be good. So I was kind of hanging on. Turns out the anxiety just moved to, well, now what if I get it? What if I don't get it? What if I don't get anything? What if my friend gets it? So the anxiety just continued.
All I'm seeing here is like fucking you having to anchor into the ground
every
so
day.
deep,
So deep. Okay, which I also think explains why I'm so tired right now.
Yeah.
So it's been a really intense 3 weeks of parenting. Anyway, we came to the assembly where it gets announced and she was awarded school captain. And I could not celebrate it at all. Like at all. Not even a lift in my body on the inside. Nothing. Just a heavy dampness. And when she came back to her chair and she looked behind, beaming at me like, oh my God, I just got it. All I could do was frown at her like, that's not okay. It's not a good reaction. And with my eyes direct towards her best friend who missed out because she won. And all I could think about was her friend that missed out.
And as this is happening, you don't have the presence of mind yet to kind of circuit break your behaviour because you're just playing the story.
I'm playing my story, right? I'm playing my story. So all I could think about was and celebrate was not the person who'd won, was the person who'd missed out. And, an hour passed and 2 hours passed and all I can think about is still this child who missed out. And that's when I started to go, it's a little weird. What's going on here? And it just so happened that I was headed to acupuncture, which was great. So I dropped my girls off at my mum's and was going to acupuncture. And I knew my acupuncturist also does NLP and, to some extent actually is a mentor and has travelled a path where I want to head.
Yeah.
And so I turned up and she's ready to do acupuncture on my, female system. And I went, actually, I've just had a realisation and I think I want to talk to you about that instead. And she went, okay.
She's great at going wherever you need to go.
I know. I said, well, my daughter just got awarded school captain. And her eyes lit up and she was like, and I was like, hang on, I can't celebrate it at all. At all. I can't even let her. I can't celebrate it. And I just realised in the car on the way here, if I can't celebrate my daughter's success, it's because I cannot celebrate my own success. And if I can't celebrate my own success, then how am I ever going to get bigger, be bigger, do more, achieve more, be the goals and the woman in this world with the influence that I want to be? And I just burst into tears, which is always a sign of you've hit a sweet spot, right? Anyway, so you can read the blog post, something, what did I call it, fear of success or something on that to get kind of how I travelled through that with her. And I left going, she's like, okay, so now are you ready to celebrate? And I'm like, yes, damn it, I am. I'm so ready to celebrate. This is so, and in my body, I could feel the excitement and the pride and all of those feelings I was actually mourning the loss of,
Because you're having this realisation that all of these opportunities that have passed you by where you
it's like a past life experience. Like you go and across my life, I can see all of the times I haven't celebrated my success. I haven't made my success okay, where I've dampened it. I've, weighed it down with, oh, yeah, but it's not. Oh, yeah, I'm not that big. Oh, I'm not better than that person, though. Or, in my head, I can replay, don't get too big for your boots. Don't be the tall poppy that no one likes that needs to be cut down. I can see it all in my head. Anyway, so I feel like I've kind of traversed enough with her that I'm at the point of finding my joy again. And I said, I think I'm just going to ask my daughter what she wants to do. And my acupuncturist, Kirsten, says, well, yeah, but what if she doesn't know how to celebrate? And it was like a pain in my heart. I went, Yes, of course, because I haven't made celebration safe for me. She wouldn't have a blueprint for what celebration that is safe for her would look like. I need to take the reins here. So I got back in the car. I've got 10 minutes before school pickup. And I'm thinking, right, I'm going to get a present. And I thought she's kind of quite sort of boho-y. She said, right, I know this beautiful store on the highway. I'm going straight there. And I'm going Universe. I need a Rockstar Park. I need a gift under $50. I need it all done in 10 minutes and I'm back at school. And so I'm driving. And I get there, circle once, no car park. Circle twice. I'm going, motherfucker, this manifesting isn't working. Bullshit. I know. And then I see this park down the street. It's like, oh, for God's sake, a park there. And even in that moment, I'm feeling the dapping. I'm going, oh, maybe I just won't bother and I can't do this. And then I look across the road. And there's this shop there on Station Street. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. All right, Universe, maybe this is it. Rockstar Park right out the front of this shop, right? Okay. So I walk into the shop and looking around going, not really getting the awe of this $50 gift that was just going to manifest and inspire me, you know. And the shop assistant goes, oh, you look like you're looking for a gift. And I said, yes, I am. She goes, have you seen this cabinet here? Which I hadn't seen. And I walk over to this cabinet and like this shining light is this boho wallet of prosperity that is dangling in gold coins and, you know, like it looks like the gift of the divine. And I'm like, I get the feeling in my body, I know this is it. And then I'm thinking, I don't want to turn the tag and find out I can't get it, you know. So, and I knew this wallet was, well, I didn't know for sure if it was the designer or not, but I knew this designer and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to afford this wallet. I turn the tag and it's $49.95. And I'm like, oh my God, I got a Rockstar Park and a $50 present. Like I was nearly jumping up and down in this shop. And I hand it over to the girl and I'm like, now I need a card. And I'm writing in there, you are a manifesting badass. You know, I'm like this, which really is just me talking to me. But at the same time, whatever I make safe for me, I'm making safe for her. And I want her to see what a freaking manifesting genius she is.
Yeah.
She was the underdog. She worked through some major beliefs and anxiety to even show up, and she did. And she showed up and she got this job she so deeply wanted she couldn't even say it out loud how much she wanted it.
Wow.
Like fucking amazing.
Hugely
celebrate
amazing.
that shit.
Yeah.
So I get this gift. I get back to school and the bell goes as I'm walking in the gate. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. This is amazing. And I walk up to the spot and we meet them and my daughter comes out and she's beaming and she comes to give me a hug and I'm like, I've got this gift for you. I'm so happy for you. You killed it. You did awesome. Yeah. And her best friend is standing next to her. And all I could think was there is enough space in these girls' hearts to celebrate the person they love in their success without it meaning theirs isn't.
Yeah. And that is a brutal and hard lesson to learn in itself, but it's deeply important.
Yeah. So I go to I kind of put this gift out in the space between us and she looks at me confused like, what do you mean? You got a presents for me? I'm like, yeah, for you. But at the same time, I can feel this pain because she didn't even think she was worthy enough for a gift to celebrate it. Wow. Like, ouch. So she opens this gift and she absolutely loves it. And I'm like, this is your prosperity word. It's amazing. You know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what's prosperity? So we talk about what prosperity is and what it means and how she has the potential to manifest this. And this is the place that signifies that in a physical way. This is the place to put all of that wealth, whatever form that is, you know, and this is the beginning of it. So we go through all of this and I can see my son standing next to her and he's looking a bit forlorn. And I get it. In that moment, I get it because I'd zoned him out up until this point. And, you know, he's smiling, but I can see the kind of the tears, but not yet tears underneath.
There's something hiding beneath it.
And I walked over a little bit closer to him and I said, hey. And he said, we've never celebrated my success. And I just felt like a dagger in my heart because I went, I know. And all I could think was meet that. And so I stepped a little bit closer and in the most authentic way that still brings tears to my eyes said, I know. And I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry. Because he's had a killer year. He was school vice captain, which we didn't celebrate. You know, did the, well done, that's great. But then move on.
Yeah.
He worked all year and made it to the state basketball team, which we didn't celebrate. He academically went through testing and wrote in and got a scholarship to high school, which we didn't celebrate. And I could feel the weight of all of that. And my discomfort with celebrating awesomeness almost at the same time, because it's almost too much awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Don't get too big for your boots.
Yeah, right. Don't think you're that good. And so I just met him with, I'm really sorry for that, but I want this to change for us. I want our family narrative to change on celebration for you and for me and for our whole family. And today is the day that that changes. Moving forward, it will look different. And in that exact moment, his little prep buddy wanders up to him with his mum and hands him a Christmas gift. So I kind of turned away from him and let him have his space with his buddy and, you know, was chatting back with Jade and the other mums. And he comes over to me and he's like, oh my gosh, Mum. And I'm like, what? And he goes, look what Charlie just gave me. And he shows me this pair of socks, and he freaking loves socks. So socks these days for a pair of teenager awesome socks are like $30 to $40 a pair. Like it's ridiculous for one pair of socks. And he got these awesome socks that he loves. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. What? So great. And he's like, and he got me this gift voucher. And the way that he handed me this gift voucher was almost in such shock he couldn't even comprehend how someone could possibly spend that much money on him. And it was a gift voucher that was a significant amount of money for him to go and buy a pair of kicks at his favourite shoe shop. God. And I was like, oh my God. Like even for me, I had these feelings of, is this too much? You know, and I read this card that this mum wrote to my son and I burst into tears. Like this card was just full of affirmation and admiration for my son and the impact he had had on her son for this year. And it just, like, even now I can feel the tenderness in my heart as it just swells open. And I think how enormous this job is of mother. It's bigger than me.
Yeah, so much.
And my desires. And it's bigger even than who my son is. It's bigger than even our community. He is having waves of impact beyond what I can even comprehend. And it just fills me with such gratitude for what we do. So I am like a mess. I'm crying. I'm hugging this mum, you know, like she's crying, you know, and saying over and over, you know, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've made the hugest difference. And you've done such a great job with this child, which is interesting because I had not 5 minutes earlier been beating myself up about what a shit mum I was. And here's this mum saying, what an amazing mum you are. Like even that is amazing. And in the exact moment that I wasn't celebrating my son and he was desiring and I was wanting him to be celebrated, he was.
He was.
And in his values of money and socks, and it didn't come from me, but it was there present in that moment. In that moment.
It's showing you it doesn't always have to come from you.
And I just find that extraordinary. I find it just blows my mind, right? So I gather my kids up and I'm like, we're celebrating. What are we going to do? Anything, you know, and my daughter really can't come up with anything. She doesn't even know what to do. So in the end, I'm like, okay. What she came up with, she wanted to buy selfie sticks from Kmart, these like masks and stuff, and take photos. And I was like, okay, but bigger. So let's do that and go out for dinner to one of their favourite restaurants and we'll meet Dad and we'll invite Nana and, you know, whatever you want to do, you know. So I grab everyone in a flurry and we go to the cake shop and I let her choose any cake she wants to have that we're going to have when we get back late at night because late night cake, right, whatever cake you want to eat is like exciting. And then we're driving in the car and I know that I'm headed to this restaurant that's in the Southern Hemisphere's biggest shopping centre, and I don't know my way around it at all. And I ring my husband going, right, where do I need to park? And he's like, it's too hard to even tell you. Like, just park somewhere and we'll work it out from there. And I'm like, okay. So I'm driving up and I'm going, I'm just going to go to my usual spot because I know where everything kind of is from there. And I'm driving there and I get this inkling in my head, just turn here. I'm pretty sure you can turn here. And now I'm on this manifesting, I just need to listen to that rather than ignore it. I'm like, okay, Heath, he's in the front seat with me. I'm just turning here. I feel like this is the car park that's going to be right near where we need to go. So he's like, are you sure? Because he's been lost many times with me.
Yes.
And I'm like, yep, we're doing it. I turn and this car park has only our parks. And I'm like, crap, this is not the car park for us. And so now we're like lost on what is like a mini city journey through this shopping centre as I try and work out where the frick I can park in Christmas parking chaos.
Oh my God.
And we do this journey, find the next car park along on this journey. First level's full, second level's full. And I'm like, okay, we're on the rooftop now. So there's got to be something here. We're on this rooftop. I see this car park, which I love because I hate parking, that I can just drive straight through and then be the right way for, going out. I'm like, great, easy car park's what I like. We're going straight here. And as I put the brake on to stop the car, it was like a magical moment. All of us look up towards the shopping centre at the same time and my kids are like, oh, that's the restaurant. And I'm like, oh my God, we are manifesting geniuses. We have a rock star car park right outside the exact place we needed to be. This is divine. This is a gift from God. We are manifesting. Woo! So now we're like high-fiving through the car on what manifesting
so funny.
Geniuses we are. And we trot out of the car all very excited and happy to, be having our dinner out. And I look around at my, I'm vibing this and just feeling so intense and high on life. Like basically I could just click my fingers and something would materialize at this point in time. Like so freaking high, full of what amazing alignment my life has brought, how I've missed this before. I've got no idea, And I turn around and I look at my 5-year-old daughter who's happily trotting along beside me and she has a T-shirt on and across the front of the T-shirt is believe. And I'm like, oh, I believe. I'm like this, I'm practically looking up at the sky going, I believe.
You could walk into like one of those crazy churches and be right
I
on board.
would fit right in. That's where I'm at, And to the point where I even take a photo of her in her T-shirt. I'm like, I've got to remember this. This is amazing. So we have this fabulous dinner, come home, have this fabulous cake, and kids go to bed. Everyone's really happy. Get up the next morning, it's the last day of school and we have the kids' awards ceremony. Oh no, on the way home from that, my son had wanted to sneak past the shoe shop that he'd gotten the gift voucher for because he wanted to see what his options were, what shoes he might like to get. And I'm thinking, that's a great idea because if you want something to manifest, you have to have purpose. You have to know what that thing is so that you have money to put towards it. So I said, yeah, sure, go. So he went with his dad and had a look. When he came home, he was so excited, telling me every detail of these shoes that he loved and adored, and that was what he was going to get. And he had just enough money in his wallet together with the gift voucher to get this pair of shoes. But he was a little disappointed that he wasn't going to have any money left in his wallet because he really likes having money in his wallet. So next day is the awards ceremony. And in the celebration that I have now opened in success, my children clean up at these awards ceremonies. Accolades from everywhere. My daughter gets the Performing Arts Award. My son gets the Physical Education Award. The school captaincy gets handed from the now school captains over to the new school captains, which is my daughter. And then my son gets awarded the Community Leadership Award by our local member of government. And it comes with a $50 cash check.
It's unbelievable.
Which is the exact amount of money he likes to have in his wallet and doesn't go below it. And he comes back to where he was sitting and I was sitting kind of a few seats away from him. And I was so high on this experience that I'm reaching over about 5 kids to fist bump me going, oh my God, you're a manifesting genius. And he's fist bumping me going, I know. We are next level, high on our manifesting genius.
Oh, it's so funny.
And then I just loved it. Then we just celebrated it, right? Now I'm we are celebrating this. Well done. This is amazing. this is amazing, you know, and the teachers that were leaving going, he's the most beautiful child, your kids are amazing, you know, so I'm getting all of this affirmation and success, and I'm finding purpose in my life as they're finding purpose in theirs. Like, it's just the most beautiful mix.
Yeah.
And they find a different way to celebrate during that night, which is really lovely. And then I come down.
And what does that look like? And is it just you or is it everybody?
I kind of feel like I'm the barometer though. So to some extent, I kind of feel like whatever I'm pulsating at is kind of what everyone else is pulsating at. And that's why I'm quite particular about how I hold my own integrity and energy, because I know that that is vibrated back to me as well. Everyone's a bit narkier. I'm certainly narky. Really, really narky.
Short-tempered.
Yeah. I've had enough. I have held everyone else's fucking space for 3 solid weeks in a really intense way, beyond what I thought my capacity was, because I've had Jade obviously going through all her shit, plus Heath finishing primary school and transitioning into high school, plus finishing kinder and transitioning into primary school, like just fucking smacked.
And a toddler.
And a toddler, right? So I've got like parenting over all genres. So I'm now on my downer reflecting on my weeks going,
oh, fuck you guys.
yeah, all of you can go to hell. You know, I'm like, I'm done.
Feed yourselves.
Yeah. That's basically what it looks like. And then at the same time, I'm like, well, now I've fucked my manifesting.
Yeah. Now I'm not vibrating where I want to vibrate.
No, right. So this is part of what I want to pull apart with you.
Yeah.
That's it. I've done it. You know, there's no point. Just give up now. I can't even do what I want to do. Yesterday, I had all the plans for 2019. Today, I can't even fathom how I could possibly even work towards
Today,
achieving
I can't
one
even
of
wash
them.
myself.
No, that's exactly like 100%, right? And then my darling daughter, my eldest daughter, who I have held so much fucking space for over the last 3 weeks, is really unhappy about something. Can I remember? Oh, I know what it was. It was because we'd organised a shopping day on Saturday, and I'd said that my son, as part of celebrating what we had missed for him over the year, could come with just mum and dad, and he would have to do Christmas shopping, which now we've busted the Santa thing this year is actually really lovely and was part of kind of his moving into a different sphere of Santa thing. So we'd kind of prearranged this. So this is Sunday. She is super jealous of the fact that her brother has gotten, in inverted commas, everything, and she's gotten nothing.
Bet that went down well.
Oh, I haven't even remotely got the space for this shit. So I'm kind of snarking around her and she's kind of snarking around me. And usually what we've done in the past when Jade's not ready to talk is we've done kind of letters to each other, and that's how we've communicated. So she writes me a letter. I nearly kept it, Bridget. I nearly did. She writes this 2-page letter to me that is about how awful I am.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. How much I don't hold space for her and don't listen to her feelings at all. In fact, I criticize her anytime she has a feeling.
Oh, wow.
I can't even listen to the feeling that she has. And she doesn't understand why her brother gets everything, like special time out, like a special lunch out, like all of this stuff that she doesn't get. For what? For what? Being a good buddy? Because she's a great big sister and she never gets awarded for that. Like this letter goes on to the point, like my husband read it first and he hands it to me and he's clearly pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And he hands it to me and I'm reading it. And it's so full that by the end of it, I burst out laughing. I'm like, it's so ridiculous that I'm like laughing. So I now, if you can just picture energetically where I was at.
Oh, God.
And then add enough anger that now I'm laughing because that's what I do. And I storm with this letter into the kitchen where she is and I slam it on the bench in front of her. And I say, I'm laughing, right, Jade. If you don't have the balls to say it to my face, you shouldn't be saying it.
Oh, God.
Don't you be one of those keyboard warriors who can say anything they like behind the safety of their screen or piece of paper, but can't actually own their truth enough to say it to the person it affects. That's not happening. So either you say it or you don't. right. You know, I'm like this. And in the back of my head, I'm like, well, this is parenting 101.
This is not my finest moment.
So well. But also this other thought pops into my head, which is stop doing everything for her. I have spent 3 weeks working through her beliefs. I have spent 3 weeks listening to her feelings. And if she can't get through that intensive therapy and fucking own some shit, what is the point? I'm also aware I'm talking to myself. Come on, Julie. Right?
Yeah.
Considering where my mental state is at. So instead of letting my little princess be princessy, with anger, I call her out on it. Do it. If it's your truth, say it out loud. She starts coughing. You're coughing because it's stuck in your throat. So either you get it out of your body and we can look at it, or you suck it on down and nothing happens. You want your reality to change, Jade. You have to be required to change with it. You stay the same, you get where you're at now. And how's that going for you? And just so you know, anytime you want to change something, it comes with fear. If you're not feeling scared, it's probably not change. I'm also aware I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Fucking brutal.
Right. And so she takes a big enough breath that she almost verbatim, through tears, blurts the whole thing out to me. I went, okay, all right. This is your truth. Okay. And I said to her, I know that what you don't want is for me to sit here and tell you all the reasons why your truth is not the truth. But here's the thing. There is no one truth because you're seeing it through one set of filters and I'm seeing it through another set of filters. And so being in relationship means we share each of our views and we listen to each of our views and we're willing to let our views go enough that we can see and feel into the center. And then I said, you know, you might not see Mum and Dad do this. And she's like, no, I don't. And I thought in my head, this is something we need to probably model more. We do tend to have those conversations once the kids have gone to bed. But I said, dude, Mum and Dad don't agree all the time on everything. It looks like this. I go, Nick, here's what happened, or that you did this and then I felt like this and there's where my mind went, blah, blah, blah. And then Nick goes, wow, that wasn't where I was at all. Here's where I was at. And we kind of role-played that a little bit. And I said to her, so when I say to you, I need you to expand your truth, what I'm going to say is you forget all of the things that have happened to you in this moment where all you can see is what's happened to your brother. You can't see the fact that we've celebrated none of his success for the whole year. And he didn't get a whole night. And he didn't get a special dinner out. And he didn't get a present. He's got none of that. And in fact, I buy you little presents regularly during the year and it's something that's quite a pain point for Heath and he's told me that. And I cannot think of the little things to get him as well. I think of you more often than I think of Heath. But you don't see that either. All you can see is what you don't have right now. You know, blah, blah, blah. It goes on.
Yeah.
And so we get to this point and she's still a bit sulky. And in the end, I was like, damn it, Jade. Be a warrior. Stop being a princess waiting for us to sweep the path clear for you, for us to hold you long enough that we softly, softly wait for you to get softly, softly everything out. At some point, you have to own it enough that you can stand in your own truth, regardless of the world around you, and say, here I am. Be a warrior because I know that you are. So be one right now. I also know I'm speaking to myself as I'm in my post-manifesting funk if I can't do anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're calling yourself to it.
Right. So how perfect is this parent-child dynamic? And she's clearly, scarily, so linked to me that she's literally reflecting and bringing me everything I need for growth right now, for manifesting my 2019.
Fuck.
Like, I find the whole thing incredible.
And this is what I love. This puts the spotlight on the fact that manifesting in 2019 is not supposed to be brainstorming and good feelings and loveliness and anticipation and excitement. You know, you're going to be faced with that through pain, like through discomfort, through seeing what you don't want to see.
And if family's your highest value, you'll see it there.
Yeah. Through the ickiness, through the coming down of the highs.
What do you think about that? What do you think about this law of attraction? You need to vibrate at the energy of which that thing exists in order to be open to receiving it?
I definitely think everything is vibration, and I do think that there's a resonance. Like, so we almost need to be vibrating at that which we seek to pull in, because we can't, like, if we're not resonating with something, then we're not almost able to access it. However, you also need to overlay with that the reality of what goes up must come down, and the more elated or the more one-sided we become, we naturally must face that which we've repressed, that which we're not aware of. So your level of elation in those couple of days, what was hiding there in your psyche was its counterbalance, which was the depression, which was the come down, which was all of the, you know, resentment toward your children in the moment that you were feeling infatuated with their success and their ability to manifest. And at some point, we need to face that, because to really love someone is to give them a balance of support and challenge. And they needed both, just like you need both, just like you're asking Jade to be able to handle both, like you're asking yourself to be able to handle both.
I find that amazing. It still blows my mind. Whatever advice.
But we don't want that though, right? Like, we want it to be comfortable. Like, the animal part of us wants it to be easy. And that's why this, like, you know, there's so much new age bullshit around, you know, if it's not easy, then I'm not in flow. And
it's not meant to be hard.
I think when we're busting through some of our biggest beliefs, it is like the warrior slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
You know, it is like,
or that you're trudging through, you know, a quagmire of some sort.
The adventurer having to bust through the, you know, the thorns and, you know, to stomp the paths that
being your own Prince Charming to the Sleeping Beauty that's hiding in there, right? Who's asleep right now because you haven't accessed that part of yourself.
Yeah. And that doesn't look like, you know, sunshine and rainbows and, you know, wonderful things all of the time. You know, and whatever we're continuing to run into, you know, it's that part of ourselves that's seeking us to grow through it. And we'll often, depending on the level of the pain there and also the value there, we'll either go there or we won't. And so I think if we're really wanting to manifest, you know, a year in alignment that, you know, that's full of our version of success, that also means looking at, you know, what our patterns are that we keep hitting, which we know are limiting us, which we know are as a result of a conditioned belief or a fear or a massive story that we've been running, you know, and we'll hit them in our intimate relationships, we'll hit them with our kids, we'll hit them with our money story, you know, whatever it is. You know, and I mean, your story is so brilliantly illustrated where we're at with Flip Your Finances and focusing on that this month. But it's not just in that area of life. Every area of life is going to bring us that. And everything that we're judging in our outer world is this expression of ourselves, you know. And what we're finding ourselves reflecting on over the Christmas and New Year period and the pains and pleasures with our family are an expression of ourselves. What do we find hard in? What do we judge in our father-in-law or our mother-in-law or our sister or our brother?
Yeah.
That's
and I also
us.
think, what are the thoughts that run through your head when you contemplate someone else's money that they've spent on a present or don't spend, or someone else's house or lifestyle,
or the way that they serve their food, or what food that they choose to serve, or, you know, are they indulgent or are they frugal, or, you know, where are you, your version of those things?
And where do you want to awaken more and be more? So instead of looking at jealousy which is part of the conversation I have with my daughter, jealousy is an internal desire. It is a feeling only to try and highlight to you there's something I want for myself here. So your job is not to get sucked into envy. I wish that person didn't have that thing because I want it. Your job is to say, wow, thank you to that person for showing me that because there's something there I really want for myself. Now, how will I level up to get that? It's a desire. Can you listen to it? Or are feelings of jealousy not allowed for you?
It's almost like one of the biggest things we as women can find difficult is integrating anger. And it's similarly, how long can you sit in the feeling of jealousy and ask it questions? How long can you be with the burning rage of anger and allow it to burn through your body and tell us what it needs to tell you what it needs to tell you? Those feelings are there as feedback.
And the beliefs that you might find yourself in this festive period is you rub up against so many parts of your story with family and otherwise. And I'm really excited to do Flip Your Finances because when Bridget first, I can't remember if you said or not, but when you first opened it, I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then I've had this week of manifesting and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm ready for some wealth. Like I am ready to let go of these childhood stories of lack and of not enough and whatever, deprivation. I am so done with those. So done with them. I just can't do that anymore.
And the thing is, when we create these firm new paths, we will also continue to face them.
So this is the hard part, right?
So that we can, be challenged. Are you sure you're ready to let go of that?
Well, and this is what I think is almost like this is part of the warrior mindset, isn't it? Because I think about birth, like when I was on those sort of overdue days with Gwen, and it's this constant, almost hourly internal battle of will I, won't I, will I, won't I? I feel like that now that I've bust this belief, had an alignment, which is, shown through manifestation and everything coming together. Now is the integration part. And that means almost a mental battle of, are you trotting the path you've always trodden or are you creating a new one? And so it's mentally being strong enough to choose a new path, sometimes hour by hour, as I feel into my deepening state is opposed to thinking I need to be happy instead of feeling it, is being in that state, but still choosing to see how each of my thoughts is still choosing a track and which one will I let it choose.
And seeing our thoughts as deep is not something that's to be ignored or to let float by, but to actually be curious about, because our thoughts will be deeply linked to the stories we tell ourselves and thus the stories we're creating. So it's worthwhile examining them.
And that's really what we do in Flip Your Finances. So it's a audio download, so you can listen to it anywhere you go to really start to awaken in 4 modules. Four modules. What's going on with your money blocks, so that then you can be in a private 1-week group with us where we really facilitate you through the internal beliefs that are holding you back, because that's all it is. It's your own glass.
Yeah, and we're also kind of using it as our own sort of think tank for 2019 in terms of what we're wanting to manifest in that area of life.
And getting really conscious about it. Yeah. So as opposed to going, I want to earn more money, it's okay. Where's the feeling of the big goal? We're going to step it back, look at the beliefs so that we can chunk it down into something that literally we look at that piece of paper and we go, I see how that's achievable. It's scary because it comes with fear. Yeah. But it's achievable, and looking at our mindsets that get us there. So that's what we want to do.
And we're looking at the psychology of saving as well, and money systems and how they are an expression of energy, and also the repression that's shrouded around money, which makes it makes so many people struggle with money because of the beliefs that we tend to grow up with or are, cultured in. So it's quite diverse as a product, but we really love it because there's lots of juiciness in there for us to pull apart.
So we'd love you to start your 2019 with manifesting with us really quite consciously and creating exactly for your family and paving the pathway for your children with the mindsets that you want them to carry forwards, because it all starts with us. So it's on sale for $59 with a 1-week intensive with us up until the 20th of January, after which time the 1 week disappears and it goes back up to $97. So please find that at nourishingthemother.com.au /shop, and you'll find Flip Your Finances.
get on there. Now to connect with us is nourishingthemother.com.au, Nourishing the Mother on Facebook and Instagram. And to connect with you, Jules,
thepleasurenutritionist.com, and you, Bridge,
suburbansandcastles.com.
We wish you the very merriest of festive seasons and New Year's. And if you feel some sprigs and waves of energy of what you want to manifest, write them down. Yeah. And if you're finding it hard, then join us and create literally the tribe that elevates you into that. And we wish you the most magnificent 2019.
We really do. We really do. So remember to nourish the woman, to rock the family.
And we'll see you next week when we continue to peel back the layers on your mothering journey.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/The Wellness Couch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.